Good morning, Unity. All of God's children, all of God's children gather round. All of God's children, all of God's children gather round. Our minds are rearranging and our planet will be changing. All of God's children gather round. All of God's children, all of God's children gather round. All of God's children, all of God's children gather round. 'Cause we're crossing over Jordan, we'll leave behind our burden. All of God's children gather round for the victory sound. All of God's children, all of God's children sing it out. All of God's children, all of you children sing it out. With joy we claim a blessing, we'll tap into our essence. All of God's children sing it out. All of God's children, all of God's children come along. All of God's children, all of God's children come along. In our house of new beginnings, all of our problems will be winning. All of God's children come along and sing it out. Oh, sing it out. All of God's children sing it out. Our minds are rearranging and the planet will be changing. All of God's children gather round. All of God's children, all of God's children gather round. All of God's children, all of God's children gather round. Our minds are rearranging and our planet will be changing. All of God's children, all of God's children, all of God's children gather round, sing a sound of your victory sound.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Wesley Baker, and I'll be your celebration assistant this morning. I'm excited to be with you today. Welcome to Unity on Greenville, where we practice a spiritual path to positive living. And we have a guest speaker with us today, Gretchel Johnson. Get that right? Good. Gretchel Johnson will be with us, and you'll get to hear her in a little bit. Would you advance the slide, please? So we have membership renewal coming up. So if you're a current member and you'd like to renew your membership, we need you to do that in a way that we can document it. So you can send an email to unityon@dallasunity.org. You can write in the subject line, membership renewal for 2022, and we'd like you to put in the body of the email that you want to renew your membership. Please be sure to include your name, address, current phone number, and be sure you hit send on that so that we get current contact information for you. The annual church community meeting is coming up in February, Sunday, February 27th. That's when we'll vote on a new board of trustees. We have one opening, and so we need your membership renewal part for you to be able to vote in that. And that will be done virtually and here live. If you want to see other upcoming events at our church, you can go to our e-news. There's a weekly e-news. You can go in to sign up there. If you're not getting that message, you can go to our website and click on the sign up for e-news, and you'll get the e-news every week. If you want to connect with us, you can also do that at the website. You can click on About Us and Resources, and that'll give you an opportunity to connect with our church. And for your donations, while you're there at the website, if you'd like to donate, there's a button that you can click to donate electronically, or you can mail a check to the address on the screen. We're always very appreciative of your tithes and offerings, because we're still trying to keep the church operational in these tough times, so that every dollar, every penny counts. So if you would, we have an offering for our blessing, those that we've already received and those that we're going to receive. It's on the screen if you'll recite it with me. Divine love, Esme, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. With gratitude, we commit to using our gifts for good. Thank you. And with that, we're going to move into a time of prayer, and Donna Kirby's going to come lead us in prayer.
Good morning. Before we go into prayer, and I apologize up front for not letting you know I was going to do this, but we're having chaplain training next weekend. And we invite anyone who's interested, wants to know more information on it, please contact the church. We have a wonderful bonding of our chaplains here. And it's a wonderful experience. I've been a chaplain, I don't know how many years. And it's something that has enriched my life. So for more information, please contact the church, either email or call them, and then they'll refer you to whoever can give you the information and is available. It's Friday evening, all day Saturday, and then we have the installation on Sunday, which is a beautiful ceremony. Thank you, and I apologize for not letting you know I was going to do that. Good morning. My name is Donna Kirby, and I am your prayer chaplain this morning. I am available after the service at the back of the sanctuary for private prayer. Let us pray. Embrace the silence. As we connect with Sweet Spirit. Each of us within ourselves go to that place where we feel the comfort, the safety, and the true and pure love of our God. It is there where we find the comfort of knowing who we are and that we are a child of God. And Sweet Spirit, I'd like to send blessings to those around the world who may be suffering, who may be ill, or maybe they've lost a loved one. We know, Sweet Spirit, that you are taking care of them, whatever that looks like. For you are with us always. And in particular, some of our congregants that are here and virtually, who may be feeling uncomfortable right now, or a dis-ease, we pray, we love, and we accept unconditionally. Amen.
Now is an opportunity for us to go deeper within. I invite you to relax your eyes behind closed lids. Knowing that Silence is the language of God. We will enter into the sacred space in silence first, and then you'll hear the words. And we will then end with silence as well. So to begin your relaxation, you may start with simply lowering your shoulders away from your ears. Slow your breathing down. Inhale. Collectively, we'll all take a big inhale. And gently let it go. Together again, big inhale. And exhale it out. Now, take a big inhale all the way up to the top of your lungs. Hold it and release. Quiet. Imagine that you're walking along a pathway that is covered with a canopy of tree limbs. And you're just slowly walking. You can hear the crunch of leaves beneath your feet. Through the canopy of branches and leaves, you can feel sunshine every now and again on your face, reminding you of who you truly are, and that is pure spirit. Pure spirit in form, in a body. You can feel the breeze touch your skin. Oh, how beautiful this is. You feel at one with nature that brings you to a deeper level of feeling at one with spirit. You're at peace here. And you continue to journey through on the path. This is a time and space that you can revisit at any time you want to feel reconnected with God and nature. Now simply breathe. When you're ready, you may open your eyes.
We've arrived at this place so many times before, at a crossroad, standing before an open door. The choice is yours and mine, whether to go on to love and leave the fear behind. Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind the fear? Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind the fear? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Over and over we struggle to pull away from unconditional charity. Let it slip away, oh, but so gently love abides. In the waking hours, in the dawn of the day. Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind our fear? Oh, where do we go from here? Oh, where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind the fear? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind the fear? Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind our fear? Where do we go from here? The choice is yours and mine. The choice is yours and mine. The choice is yours and mine. Let's leave the fear behind. Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? Shall we love? Shall we love? Shall we love? Let's love. Hey, hey. Where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind the fear? Where do we go from here? 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 Where do we go from here?
That was absolutely beautiful, Rachel. Thank you. And Donna for that beautiful prayer. Thank you so much. Everybody has been so absolutely nice welcoming me this morning. Thank you. The thinnest veil. Death is an illusion. Death. Are you comfortable with the subject of death? And I know I haven't always been. And if you are, good. If you are not, well, hopefully you become more comfortable. And it could be, if you're not comfortable with death, because the pain of losing someone you love, the fear of what happens once that person, your loved one, has transitioned on. Or could it be the mystery of it all? Death is an illusion. Today we're going to look at the metaphysical definition of death, what Jesus said about death, why I chose this subject, and what I believe may be proof that death is an illusion. Before I go further, though, I'm going to ask that you please, please, please suspend your beliefs as well as your judgments about death and near-death experiences. And the idea here is not to change your mind, but to point to something for you to give your attention to, and then to further research on your own. What is death? The revealing word says that death is a sleep, like a kind of sleep. And then when man wakes up, he is in a realm of thought, too large to express himself in a body. You see, death is an illusion. It is a portal through which experience of life begins. The veil is believed to link the worlds of the living and the dead, to link them together. Once you have passed through the veil, life continues on. Now, Elizabeth Sand Turner states in Your Hope of Glory, she says that Jesus never ever spoke of death without resurrection. Death is an illusion, so I've come to celebrate life. Life in the physical realm, you know, the physical relative realm, as well as life in the absolute spiritual realm. We are spirit beings, and we live in a body, a form. God, known by many names, Christ, the principle, 1,000 names or more, animates this body. When we look at who we are behind the body, we are the same after we transition as we are before we're born in the body. The I am part of us exists first. Stay with me now. Okay? The I am part of us exists first. The I needs a body to present into form. There must be a sense of I before there's a sense of you. For example, I see you. You see, I had to exist first before I could see. Think about this. Where did the sense of I come from? It's innate. Did you know that a child becomes self-aware becomes self-aware in the form of I before speech? Then comes I see, I like, I want, etc. After that comes male and female. We are fundamentally more than our bodies, more than what we think. So take a deep breath in. Just breathe that in. I want to transport you now back to a time, not too far back to July 20th, 2002. There was this young at heart couple, young at heart because I'll tell you in a second. Young at heart couple, after dating for about 7 years, they were joined in holy matrimony. They loved each other immensely. Their love was so strong, it was palpable. Those around them could tell and they could feel their love. After they were married, they lived happily ever after. They never even argued, fussed, or fight. They didn't always agree, but when they disagreed respectfully. So they lived happily ever after until October 26th, 2011, when Edward, affectionately known as Eddie, passed through that thin veil. And Eddie, affectionately known as Eddie by his wife, me, after his transition, I was devastated. And every time I think about sharing this, even though it's been 10 years, I still get this lump in my throat. Thank God for family and friends who surrounded me in love. I needed them so desperately. Now, moving forward, and I'm going to say about 2 to 3 months. Actually, I really don't know the time limit, or time frame rather. Approximately 2 or 3 months after Eddie's transition, I had the most unusual, strange, hard to describe experience. And I thank God for Unities and Unity teachings. Had it not been for Unity teachings, that might have really freaked me out. Let me tell you what happened. One day I went into my bedroom, I sat on the bed, and I was just there in deep thought. So my legs were there, and I was sitting in an upright position. And I was just staring into the wall, just staring. I must have been there for hours. You know how you can hear about gurus who meditate for days and never have to eat or go to the bathroom? After this was all over, I thought about that. I was there for hours. It was daylight when I went into the room. And when I noticed the time, it was pitch black outside. We're in that pitch black darkness. You know where the wall meets the ceiling and that crease? White orbs started to form there. Whitish, kind of translucent, except for one. One was a colored orb. Not just the red, white, and blue and green color. It was colors I'd seen, colors I hadn't. This colored orb started to float very, very, very slowly towards me. By the time the orb got to the foot of the bed, I simply had the thought, I'm not sure I'm ready for this. And I don't know what I was ready for, why I thought that thought. But immediately upon thinking that thought, the colored orb started to regress. It started to move back into the space where the white orbs were. It faded away, disappeared first. Then the other orbs gradually disappeared. That was astounding, breathtaking. I didn't know what to make of it, and I told no one about that experience for a long time. Eddie's transition is the impetus for this talk today. Well, I did finally tell someone. I told my two sons. One son sent me a video, YouTube video of orbs surrounding people in cemeteries. And I was grateful to have that, but I was more grateful he didn't think I was crazy. I was really grateful he didn't think I was losing my mind. I became obsessed with death and dying after Eddie's transition. And I was like a troll on the internet. I read articles, I bought books, I talked to people, specifically those who had lost a spouse. So much so, I ran across two people whose story I want to share with you now. They stood out to me, and they are Dr. Eben Alexander and Anita Mujani. Dr. Eben Alexander wrote a book entitled Proof of Heaven. He spent 50 years of his life developing a conventional worldview as an academic neurosurgeon, believing that the physical world is all that exists and that consciousness actually comes from physical matter. And then he had a near-death experience. He was in coma with a lethal gram-negative bacterial meningitis affecting all 8 lobes of his brain. And by conventional neuroscience, he should have had no activity in his brain whatsoever, and he had a 2% chance of living. However, he says his conscious awareness grew tremendously, and it was like he was freed from shackles and in a prison. While in coma, this is what he experienced. He said, it was like I came up, like I had a worm's view. I was coming up through the earth, and I had a worm's view of what was happening around me. He said, it was ultra real, far more real than this world, what he experienced. There were earth-like features, and there was plant life. And then there was this beautiful, beautiful girl on a butterfly wing. Beautiful. He didn't know that that was his sister. He didn't know that. Why? Because he was adopted. And at 33, his sister had passed over into the spiritual realm. Well, needless to say, all of this affected this doctor in a profound way. He started to he started going around giving talks all over the world. And he met up with a lady whose life story was similar to his, Anita Mujani. So he shares her story. Oftentimes she used to travel and speak at the same conferences he went to. Let me tell you a little bit about Anita Mujani's experience. She wrote a book entitled Dying to Be Me. She had lymphoma, which is a kind of lymphatic cancer of the lymphatic system. And after 4 years of fighting cancer, no doctor anywhere can tell anyone why or how cancer left her body. What happened to Anita is that she realized, which is true for all of us, that she had the power to heal her body. There is a power within us, a healing power that actually heals the body. Healing comes in many forms, we know that. And healing could mean that you transition into the spiritual realm. However, healing could mean that you stay here in the physical realm for a specific purpose, to be the teacher or the student, and sometimes both at the same time. For Anita, she said, my life now is like, and I have a little exercise. I want you to do this with me. Pretend that you have a flashlight, and this entire sanctuary is pitch black. Now, point your flashlight over there. All you can see is that beautiful stained glass window. Yes? Yes. Point your Flashlight over there. You see another beautiful stained glass window, yes? Now put your flashlight down. Imagine now, one day someone flips on a switch, and with that switch comes the most beautiful, brilliant white light balanced with beautiful music. And now you can see the entire sanctuary. But she describes it as a warehouse. But it's big, it's huge. You can't see the beginning, you can't see the end. She says she saw beautiful things, not so beautiful things. She saw big things, small things, colorful things, colors that she recognized and colors that she had never seen before. But things everywhere. It was massive. And then the light goes off. This is like an analogy to being in the body and then out of the body and coming back into the body. The light goes off, and now she says, I can only see what's illuminated by my little flashlight, because now the light has been turned off in this humongous warehouse. You see, they were near dead, if not dead for a few seconds, and came back to life. But during that time in the spiritual realm, their life continued on. They could see and experience things. Now, my experience says to me that that colored orb must have been Eddie. I'd never had any experience like that before anyone else passed. I say it was he who had come back to say, I'm okay. Look at me. I'm in brilliant color. Death is an illusion. In closing, surely it's never a good time to lose a loved one. No one wants to see their loved one leave the physical realm. It's difficult and challenging to be without that form that you're so familiar with. Yet there is a part of us that can intuit there is more. I'm going to invite us all to love more. 1 Corinthians 13:13 says, and now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest of these is love. Laugh out loud. Live out loud. Wear loud colors. I'm going to start to do that. Discover ways to laugh out loud with people. It's healthy, it's healing, it's heavenly. He will fill your mouth with laughter and your life with shouts of joy. Job 8:21. Death is an illusion.
Spirit rising like a song that never ends, like the day when it begins. In the night where we hide, where we feel invisible, light and shadows interchange, and the dark never stays for long. Spirit rising on the horizon. Spirit rising on the horizon. And it's just a matter of time till your spirit rises. Spirit rising like an iridescent moon, like a colorful balloon, floating silently to space. where we become invisible, symbiotic, push and pull, like the tide of the ocean, just like the ocean, our spirit rises on the horizon. Spirit rising on the horizon. You know it's just a matter of time till your spirit rises. Your spirit's gonna rise, spirit rising on the horizon. Spirit rises on the horizon. You know it's just a matter of time, a matter of time, a matter of time, till your spirit rises. Ooh, 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 yeah. Till your spirit rises, it's just a matter of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. And thank you, Gretchel, for being with us today. Next slide. Unity on Greenville, we have core values, and they're on the screen. I'd like you to share them with us today so we can continue honoring our core values. Unconditional love, conscious spiritual transformation, spirit of service, acceptance and inclusion, expression of divine light. We also have an affirmation for our youth, which are still meeting virtually. It's on the screen if you'd please recite that with me. We, as Unity on Greenville, claim the truth for our youth. We teach principles to empower each child and teen to fulfill their divine potential. Through fellowship, love, prayer, and meditation, they connect with God, each other, and our world. We also have an affirmation as we are on our search for our new minister, and it's on the screen with us. If you would please recite that with me as well. We welcome and affirm with love the perfect spiritual leader who embraces the truth of unity principles. And then the daily word. The word of the day is rise. The affirmation is, I rise in consciousness to help create a world that works for all. Throughout time, there have been people who led lives that changed the world forever. Their words and deeds provided hope and inspiration for those who carry forth their legacies of love, growth, and evolution long after they left this life. Their most powerful contribution, however, was their ability to inspire others to express their own divine purpose. As more and more people reach their highest potential, the whole of humanity ascends. Today I honor those who have led lives of service, striving for love, truth, and justice. I take steps not just to commemorate their journeys and contributions, but to embark upon my own. I rise grateful to contribute all that I can to the growth and evolution of humankind. Our verse for the day is from Ezra chapter 10, verse 4. Take action, for it is your duty, and we are with you. Be strong and do it. Next slide. Next, Rachel with a peace song.
If you guys would like to join me, we can go ahead and sing this together. Yes, there is peace on earth. I know it begins in me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God, Creator, united all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, there is peace on earth, for this is the moment now. With every step I take, I make this my joyous vow. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth. I know it begins in me.
I think I need this, don't I? Now join me with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well.
Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? And shall we love and leave behind the fears? Where do we go? Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? Shall we stay and leave behind the fear? Oh, where do we go, unity? Where do we go from here this time? Where do we go from here? Shall we love? Shall we love and leave behind the fears? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Shall we love and leave behind the fear? Where do we go from here? Y'all have a great week.